Hello, you amazing friends. My name's Edward. I'm honoured to be here because there are two amazing things going down today. Now, first things first, it is the birthday of a very, very special man from Yugoslavia once, and he also wrote a book today. So we're going to come back to that. But what I'd love you all to do in the meantime is, can you please unmute for the moment and give the person next to you a round of applause? Hit that unmute key and give that person next to a round of applause and legendary Mario. Welcome, everyone.
Happy birthday,
Mario. Welcome. Welcome. Now, what I want to do is, before we actually jumped on the line, and just a few things as well, just to let you know, this is being recorded. So please keep it all clean and positive. And also, too, if you can please keep your microphone on mute, just unmute when you're going to speak, just so we can keep the background noise down. Now, as a bit of a diversion, I jumped on the line early and I was talking to the legendary Azita. And Azita reminded me that it is Mario's birthday. And what I realized about Azita is Azita, like yours truly, comes from a Persian background. And Azita has this incredible voice that sweeps like a broom. So I just voted Azita to lead the chorus in fact, can I get our hands up? Do you think Azita should lead the chorus of singing a happy birthday tune for Mario? Should Azita lead the chorus? Yeah, Azita, can you unmute? Can you lead the chorus for Mario's happy birthday?
Sure, but everyone should sing with me, please.
All right, lead the way.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mario. Happy birthday to you.
Hip hip.
Right. Yes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Azita. And I just want to say a big thank you to all. So, Mario, before we get up to Mario, two things. I want to let you know that our little girl is hanging in through the window. So she likes to distract me while I'm doing Zoom. So please excuse the little girl hanging through the window. But I actually wanted, before we talk to legendary, the man of the moment, Mario, he's got an exceptional book that I want to talk about. We're going to talk to his very handsome and obviously a guy who works at a lot publisher, the legendary Nick Hill. Nick Hill, how are you today? What's going on, Nick Hill? And I can tell you've been working out again. What's news, Nick?
Oh, I'm in a not very sunny but very windy Melbourne. Enjoying not being able to go very far like the rest of us. So that's all good. But it's Friday. It's Mario's birthday, and looking forward to talking a bit more about his book.
Now, I was just going to say, how on earth did you and legendary Mario meet? How did this whole book writing concept start, Nick?
Right. So the first thing is, it's very lucky that it's a bit early in the day rather than later at night, because we started working on a joint project that looked at people who were throwing away personal information in their recycle bins and on secondhand hard drives. And the reason I mentioned the first bit is, you try saying National Association of Information Destruction quickly when you're drunk. It's very hard.
We could try it now. We should all get really drunk now and try it.
That would be nice. So we did a bit of work together on what's actually a very interesting study about what people throw away. And then I spent a bit of time in Croatia just beforehand, and Mary and I got chatting about various stuff, and sort of ever since then we've been doing a bit of work together around more like his business stories and business articles. And I've always found that for all of you that know him, he brings the biggest positive energy into a room. I think pretty much of anyone that I've ever met. And when he asked me to have a look at his book, first of all, I thought it was more like a business book, and then I started reading it and realized it was his proper true story. And I just think it is something that everyone should read. The main kind of takeout, there's lots of takeouts, but I remember the Balkan Wars in Europe, and kind of I was sitting there in my cozy university lecture halls, listening to people waffling on. And if I'd have been born, a couple of thousand kilometers away, I could have been in Mario's situation where I turned 18, suddenly I'm in a war. And I just think it's amazing that someone can go through all the experiences that he has and still come out with such a positive attitude and his desire to brighten everyone's day. So I'm kind of pretty honoured that he wanted me to help him with his book. But I just think it's a great story, but it's also a little bit harrowing, but also quite informative in terms of lessons that you can learn going forward. So yeah, enough about me.
Well, just before you go, Nick, I'm not going to let you off that easily, because obviously you know stuff about Mario that we don't. Did you find any dirt on Mario that you just want to share with me privately right now? Any dirt, any secrets? No one will know. Just tell me now privately any dirt you got on Mario.
Privately, yes, privately. Privately. Look, I just want to say thank you. First of all, thank you, Edward, for organizing this. And I do remember, I know Edward a few years ago we met when it was everything free and we can hug each other like Teletubbies and have a drinks and we could sneeze without being arrested and all these things. I know that when I met Edward, I said, who is this guy? And I mean, just he's like a social butterfly everywhere. Anyway, you never know who you're going to meet in your life. And I think that I'm fortunate enough now in my first 44 years of my life, which was truly unique for myself. When you're living in the life I was living, you never knew was the better, but you wanted better in life. And somehow I truly believe that dreams and desires coming true. And same time with the Nick, because what I was fortunate enough that I've been surrounded, I learned to respect and value people by their kindness and generosity, in the sense of being humans who doesn't judge you according to appearances, doesn't judge you, because you're different background and everything else. And, Australia, for me, there was never a problem being foreigner, because being foreigner, it's a normal Australia, most of the countries, migrants. But to be enough blessed to have Edward help today to launch this, and Nick Hill for past 12 years doing, literally, I dump on him my documents and say, can you form this into the nice article or all of these things. But what has actually happened, that every individual of you, every of you guys, even don't know you today, who come today of this, my book launch virtual one, I'm learning from all of you. And I realize that being student of life is the best part. We don't know everything, and we're never going to know everything. And the only thing we can learn, it is from our past or history. So when I've been asked last several years, why don't I put my life story on a paper, I felt embarrassed, because, you can't show nothing except, crime river stories. I think Tony Robbins will be very, very upset, or, Jocko Willink and all these guys. But I'm grateful for my parents. Even my father passed away 30 years ago. My mom passed, maybe, I don't remember when she died. Maybe I don't care, honestly, for her. But I'm grateful for what they did to me in my life, because I think that parents actually educate you in a good way. Even doing the bad things, educate you what you to become or what not to become. That's my take. So when I was 14 years old, I was being kicked out of my home, and I was a guy who was dreamt about things in life, being glamorous, general, and all chicks gonna love me. I'm gonna be good, slim, and
all chicks do love you, Mario. In fact, if you're a lady here, put up your hand if you love Mario. Even if you're a guy, put up your hand.
Anyway, listen, and anyway, but when he was a 14 years old kid, and I remember there was the Olympic Games in Yugoslavia in 1984 in Sarajevo in Bosnia. My parents decided to cut me loose, and they could do this because they are parents. I had but there was a man in my life who loved me very much, and I didn't even know he loves me. My grandfather, he was the second in charge of secret communist police of the branch of the counterintelligence. And lucky for me, he took me under his wing and sent me to school. That's my very first recruitment into the communist intelligence services. And as a life progressed, and say in my book, as like we all have this story, have all this story. I think that somehow I believe that God was playing like a yo-yo with me. You know, they give you he gives you something, takes you something, that gives you something, takes you something, and you never know what you want in your life. But what I do remember that, you know, being brought up in a very, very nationalist family, I was believing that my father should be some type of role model for me and everything else, which turns 1991, civil war broke out in Yugoslavia. It didn't happen overnight. I'm talking about divisions because in Yugoslavia, we have divisions happening. Federal government done nothing, and every republic, every state was against each other. And, you know, me being Croatian, you know, naturally to be hate the Serbs, hate everybody, we are the best, you know, which is not true. But that's how we've been fed up from the day you're born. That being said, on 4th July 1991, I wake up in the morning and my life is just being changed, like upside down. First, I have a military police and civilian police of Socialist Republic of Croatia on my door telling me I need to report to army barracks, and I was ready being part of the military. As I was closing the doors and walking into my unit, I was looking for my parents because it was the summertime and they should be at home. I found a message on a table, you know, kitchen table, we're okay. And fuck yeah, I didn't know what the fuck is going on. And I looked at the window, I see the people literally packing like in the movies, packing the suitcases in the cars, and they're putting the sticky tapes in the windows. It's like, what the fuck is going on? So walking downstairs in a coffee shop, and then I met a new Croatian police, and I realized my parents, they dumped me in the eve of the war. Moving forward, no worries, it's a happy place, and we all been brought in some type of society. I think that people in Australia, they don't know how lucky they are waking up in the morning without turmoils.
Actually, Mark, can I just jump in there? Mark, can I just jump in for a second? And I think a lot of us will love it. Your parents dumped you. I mean, that's just shocking, right? I mean, I got dumped by my parents at one point, but nothing like your story. Can I just ask you the difficult question? I'm sure a lot of us thinking, what was it like in that moment when you realized your parents dumped you? What was going through your head? Can you, I know it's a difficult question, but
I didn't know nothing, because the only conscious feeling I did have, like, was that evening was shelling started. And I was sitting on the balcony, and I was watching some TV. Well, it was a mess in my head. And, you know, I go in the army barracks, they send me home. In army barracks, there's no recruits. There's all reserve army. It was a confusion, the tanks on the barricades everywhere. You know, you have the armed police of Socialist Republic of Croatia. Then you have the Croatian police. Then you have military, you know, regular military on the tanks. They have the recruits, and they're like, it's just reserve army. Was like, it was such a vivid situation. But that night, shelling started, and what I witnessed, it was a sheer destruction of the system who you've been brought in, like a brotherhood, a sisterhood, and unity, and blah. Suddenly, everything is falling apart. And then I realized that most of my friends of Serbian nationalities fled Croatia. And then I realized that most of my Croatian friends who are the A-grade students fled as well, because they have a good parents, you know, on positions. So the only dickheads, you know, stayed there. You know, I mean, I was literally like, you know, I mean, we were just the guys. You know, if you never, nobody lived in the Balkans, but we're just street games. You know, I was a very naughty boy. I stabbed the guy when I was 13 years old. You know, I finished juvenile for 6 months. So
it all happened really quickly. All of a sudden, you're living a relatively normal life for a communist country, and all of a sudden you're just in war, everyone's gone, and you're just dealing with complete chaos around you?
The thing it is, when you're 18 years old, you should enjoy the life, right? But suddenly you have no choice because you have nowhere to go, right? So it's essentially, or you do or die, right? You know what I mean? And the anger and rage in me, it was tremendous. I just want to. First, I want to die. You know what I mean? Because first I want to die. You know, because it's.
Can we all, for a minute, can we all unmute for the moment and give Mario a round of applause for his rawness? Can we unmute Mario? Incredible, Mario.
Yeah.
Mario.
So yeah, like, you know, you're angry, you're upset, and everything else. You're young, you know, you don't understand. You're 18 years old. Your birthday's coming in 2 months' time, and within 24 hours, I was on a bus into training center for Special Forces of Minister of Interior, and everything was like political. You know, I mean, political education. You know, I mean, continuously ideological brainwashing. Then you have the priests, you know what I mean? With
Just on that, Mario, what were some of the things that they were teaching you that would be crazy by our standards? What are some of the things they brainwashed you with that is just crazy by, I suppose, a person from West Stands? What were some of the crazy things they taught you, Mario?
And it's not just that they taught you, like, you know, you can't escape the flags, you can't escape the slogans, you know what I mean, and everything else. I can't go into depth of this because it's horrific. But you start eating and breathing that. You will find yourself in a position that you're a responsible person to defend your country, whatever it takes. And I do remember that if my president told me to do, you know what I mean, to shoot somebody, my mom, I would do it. That's how crazy I was, right? That's how crazy I was. Because, you know, don't forget one thing, as you do training, you go for the lunch, it is the news, you know, the daily news media, like destruction of this village, killer civilians, shelling of the city, you know, bombing, airplanes bombing and everything else. And all what you want is just, you know, you just want to go there and, you know, you want to destroy everybody. It's like a payback, you know, maybe on the steroids. But, you know, you're 18 years old. Then the first time I tried the LSD, I tried the cocaine, tried the way, you know, we inserted ourselves the vodka in the veins, you know what I mean? And, you know, you get beautiful insignia. And, you know, I enjoyed after a few days, I really enjoyed because I believe I belong to something very unique. What I didn't expect, actually, that I will go back into my city and I will go into the police station and report to duty, and that there was my guys from my suburb with me. You know, majority they have the fucking juvenile record, criminal record. You know, it's like, but these guys are like, you know, we need to fight, we need to defend, and everything else. And nothing was difficult and hard. But what I witnessed, it was. I couldn't care less for nobody.
Oh, incredible. Now, just Mario, I was going to say, can we give Mario another round of applause? I just want to take a quick moment of reflection. I just want to react to some of the comments that we've got. Mario, take a breather. I think, Mario, you're recalling some great stuff here. Firstly, I just want to give a few acknowledgements. The legendary Simon has just purchased Mario's book. Round of applause to you, Simon. What I'm doing right now is I'm sharing the links to buy Mario's book. So if you haven't already, buy it right now. You've got Australia and across the world. So big shout out to you, Simon. Powerful sharing. Liz Isenring gives you the best. Nicole Lowton makes a good point. Beyond normal limits, push past survival mode, kill or be killed. Christine Bell bought Mario's book. Round of applause to you, Christine.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Oh, and Nicole's bought your book too. Please, Mario.
What I try to say, the book is not, you know, it has a happy ending eventually. You know, 20 years later or 30 years later, whatever it's like, right? But only what I do remember, because Nikki edited that book, it's not what I gone through. What I try to demonstrate to my book, that you don't need a public speakers, you don't need the gurus or people. You cannot be taught lessons about life if you don't have the people in front of you who experience the life in some shape or form in most uncomfortable way. I had no choices. Like the parents just dumped me. I saw them after 3 years. They come home, they want to have the hug and this and that. I told my father literally to go fuck himself, and had no regrets. My mom, as well, she comes second book. My mom, eventually she's been I employed her in military barracks. I'm such an idiot because she lost a job. And my mom, she started working as a kitchen hand, and somehow, for fuck's sake, I don't know, because she was a liar and a kleptoman and everything else. She became the shift leader, and she stole 100,000 eggs, right? And my mom, she was dealing military food to the private enterprises.
She stole pallets of eggs.
That was one of the things, And my mom,
just on that point, Mario. Just on that note, so. You hired your mum. This is a great story. This is a sitcom itself.
I wasn't hiring my mom. My mom, because my parents supposed to report to the fabric every week once, and during the war, but they disappeared for 3 years' time. And
so what did your mom do with those eggs? So your mum stole pallets.
I know she was selling them. So we will get the troops in the barracks will get the cans, and my mom, she will sell the fresh food in total.
Oh.
And I mean, I don't remember 94 on Day of the Armed Forces. I was supposed to be promoted, and I was being demoted fucking to the rank of the privates.
Oh.
Anyway, long story short, but that my book it is, what should I say? It's very simple. You're all unique. You're all heroes for me. You know what I mean? And I say to people, there's nothing glorious in the war, because the most important thing is you go into war, normal person, and you come something different. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what, but you come out either broken or remake you.
On that point, Mario, in war, what was the biggest experience that stood out to you? What was that one experience that could have been the turning point or something that really sticks in your mind from the war?
It's in my book, but I do have the one experience which I'm living still today. I was during the combat, and anyway, make long story short, I was in that house. It was that village. We being surrounded, like 90% of that village was being surrounded. So there's no escape. They carried off us that road, and I went on the first floor of the house, and it was a beautiful, beautiful, French bed. It was just a fucking perfect linen and everything. And I saw that nobody left the house, so like things are still there. And anyway, as I was lying down on a bed, for some reason the cupboard on the wall opened, and the family hanged inside the cupboard. So they didn't want to separate because they've been mixed marriage Croatian Serbs. They hanged themselves, and then I found this booklet. That little girl, she wrote it on my parents, and for me that was the most cheapest moment, most slowest moment in my life, seeing somebody who doesn't want to live in an environment I'm in, so decided to shorten their life. Entire family hang themselves. Obviously, father hanged everybody because he has a bullet, and the kids. For me, that was one of the breaking points that I decided that I couldn't care less. I just switch off myself from, I couldn't care less anymore about nothing or nobody, just to survive. And another day, another bullet. And as we progressed towards November, when the autumn started becoming winter, and we are still in summer uniforms, middle of the winter. When you cough the blood and everything else, but you believe that you need to hold that position to the last man. Anyway, the bottom line is, the book is not about my experiences about killing or dying or this and that. It was my internal conversation between me and God. And I tell you right now, I was afraid many times, but I never showed this to nobody. So the only thing, the courage I did have, it was dreaming about things and desiring for something better. And I've been laughed on that so many times, but it paid off. So, it's not about war as a war, but about life, existing one moment in one shape and form, and there's suddenly external forces contributing to that to fall apart, and then you need to become something else. And
so just on that, Mario, did you feel that did you feel there was an angel on your shoulder protecting you at all times? Did you get that divine feeling?
No, never. No. I can't say I did because of life, right? But I saw the signs, I do remember during the one last push to the one city called Vukovar, we were in assigned to carry 50 kilos of equipment to the cornfields, and it was surrounded city, and it was just on a breaking point. They called the mini Stalingrad. And I remember we walked to the fog, and somehow we followed that biggest hole. I don't know how that it's a crater, like I will exaggerate, 50 meters deep and 100 meters wide, but it was a big, but it was like 20 or 30 of us falling to that hole top of each other. And I was crawling it was a fog, you could cut with a knife, and suddenly there was a big cross, Jesus Christ's cross was broken upside down. And I said, like, God, if you love me, just get us out of here. And 2-3 hours later, after a successful attack, we have been pulled out, and that was one of the signs that something there exists, and we just need to look the signs. In life, everything is. You should listen to the intuition and the signs. And what I was realized that the people who I strongly believe they're very strong leaders, that they're very strong humans, men. Those are the weakest one, because when you see the grown-up man, he used the shoebox to do the poo-poo, and chuck through the window because he's afraid to step out, and then yet he's the biggest guy, over the map. I lost the faith in any leadership I had with me, because after all, the leadership is being shown during the action, and that's what makes you, all of you, unique. Not me, everybody of you. Because after all, we can all share with each other what we should do, how we do. But at the end, what you do with what you have, not what you wish to have, it's what makes us, all of you guys today, unique. And after all, we are all human beings, and we have emotions. So I talk about my emotions, yes. So that's it about my book.
So just on that, Mario, that was just incredible. Everyone, can we just unmute again and give Mario a round of applause? Mario, that was riveting. There you go, riveting. I think definitely on that one, we should definitely make a movie out of it. Probably get Bruce Willis to play you. I think definitely Bruce Willis.
Look, it's
or Vin Diesel. We can get Vin Diesel or Bruce to play you, no problem. I think maybe Vin Diesel can play you.
I'm inviting everybody who is here today. It's my story is just one of millions, and that's for the reason I wrote this book. It's not that people say, "Oh God, this Mario is a god." I was lucky enough. I remember when I was the first time being wounded, it wasn't fun. I'll tell you right now. And the doctor says you should be okay, but I was bleeding through my back. Next time when I was stabbed, in the middle of the ambush, I'll be in the middle of the ambush. We've been ambushed and I've been stabbed. I was like, that's not a fun. It's not a Rambo movies. So you don't need to bleed to be the hero. You don't need to go to the fire and experience the horrors to be the hero. But what you're going to do with your experience, it's going to make you the person who people are going to look high. And I'm inviting everybody of you to, write your story, because my story is one of the millions of stories. But being every day on LinkedIn and communicating each other and pushing to this, when you see the lockdown, it's not easy. Like, who can say it's easy lockdown? all this bullshit on TV, like do this, we can do this, virtual traveling, we can do this, it's nothing. You're the heroes, you know what I mean? In a war, it's much more easier than being in lockdown. I'll tell you why. In war, at least we can hug each other like a Teletubbies, we can eat, we can walk, we can, but in lockdown, you're literally limited to your imagination and your willingness to participate in a life. Because you don't wake up in the morning and gives you something special. Right? I wake up so many days during the war when I was on a days off. I would go up, I was at home and I just want to have a shower. I didn't have the fucking lazy soap, because you couldn't buy the soap. So, the first 5 months of my war, I didn't get paid because there was no, you're a volunteer, basically, which I didn't know how I became a volunteer, but I did. So small things make me happy. Have the soap. And, when I see people overseas, some countries, I can say myself, okay, maybe today is not good, but, you're going to endure, you're going to be strong. So I'm inviting all of you to write your stories because by putting on a paper, you're going to educate people now and in the future. That's what it is. You don't need nobody to tell you how life is hard, how life is difficult, what you should do, what you not should do. How I know what Edward Zia needs, or Emma, or Ellen, or Azita claim, on the first page, I don't pull them down. How you know what I mean? In my second book, which is called Still Rain, it's a totally different Mario. It's Mario who's been extensively trained by government, who spent tremendous amount of money because they believe that I'm the guy who can change with the other numbers of people war in our favor. So in that part, in my next book, which I'm talking Still Rain, it's a calculated being politician in during the war, how to secure yourself for the future. Because I saw in a war that, like in every situation, politicians never go in a war. Politicians never send their kids in the war. However, they're always the loudest and everything else. When you ask me, but did I felt the God? No, I didn't felt the God. I will lie. But I pray to God, hiding from everybody. And I remember, oh God, just let me survive this night. And then suddenly, you're in the middle of the combat. And usually the battle starts between 3 to 5 o'clock in the morning, because that's when our body is in the lowest point. And when you start, shooting each other, when you see the first time in my book, I explained, Nick edited this very well. During the combat, we went into something like a 7-Eleven shop, middle of the combat, because we were so thirsty. And what happened, comes the other group of the people inside, and we recognize each other. The only thing what changed at that moment, when one of the guys turned the shoulder, was insignia, and there was our enemies. So we're standing like a meter apart from each other, about 20 to 30 of us in the same room. And it was a slaughter, it was just survival. And I was like 18 and a half years old, and it was not like a movie. I was started very quickly and, ended even faster. But thing it is, I'm admiring all of you. All of you just listen to me today. That's what makes you heroes. Listen to my shit English, so that's what it is.
Mario, I love what you're going. Just on that, now you and I have both fought in battles. How can you, a lot of people, some people here would have fought in battles, some people wouldn't. How would you describe to someone who's never fought in a war what it's like? What's it like fighting in an extended battle like that? How would you explain that to anyone listening?
There was a moment in December, after 6 months of consecutive, like a day after day combat, like a day after day. I just wanted to be over. I had enough. I had enough because, I started coughing the blood, pissing the blood, I just want to have the Panadol. And the war is nothing glorious there. It's nothing glorious there. The best impact on me, what it had, was that people around me start disappearing. and then you ask yourself, is the next me? So what it is, the war, it's a playground of some people, and it's paid by the human life. And I suggesting everybody to stay away from the wars, because war, the only time when the war is justifiable, it's if you've been attacked by foreign powers and they try to, take it over. But war, it's a most cruel experience I can explain.
Yeah. But you never chose this. You never chose this war. You were conscripted, basically. They literally yanked you as a 14-year-old.
No, you just told me, like,
Yeah.
just reporting in the
You
morning.
didn't choose this.
One day I was in the army barracks to report to the Federal Army, which was my call to do it, because I was very part of that corps. Somehow one of the officers sent me out to buy the smokes to him. And as soon as I left out, Croatian police told me, you're going to report in police station, choose, are you a Croatian or you with them? And I went, I'm Croatian. I was, well done, mate.
There you go.
No,
So literally, here's a rifle. Here's a rifle.
Next thing I was on a bus, next thing I was on a bus for the training. And things are changing. Things are changing. In that part, you start losing, you're losing yourself, you're becoming something else. And I said, that's when you start smoking, taking drugs. And I did, I was using everything and anything that's come to me because I felt good. I just felt good. And then I realized later on that actually I've become very old, becoming a very different person. And so war, it's no good and people don't understand. And I come back to the one crucial point. That's it. When war starts, you send young, healthy people. And different people come back home and wounded, and all these things. So it's like war is not a joke. War is it's a very cruel. And the tragedy is when the war ended after 6 years, we come back where we started before the war. That was the worst part for me.
So you didn't win the war per se. It's just we won
the war. We won independence. We won the war. We kicked the rebels out of our country and everything else, and Federal Army, Yugoslavia fall apart entirely. We have the consecutive wars. First Slovenia, Croatia, they have Bosnia, Kosovo. It was just state after state after state after state. And me being the war junkie, I was just looking for the next engagement. Who is volunteer for the Bosnia? Yeah, me. Sure, absolutely. Give me up and send me.
We definitely need to get Vin Diesel to play you when we make the movie. Definitely Vin Diesel's the right man to play.
He needs to get the weight a little bit. Yeah. So the book is about my internal wars, not about wars around me. I described a little bit, but my internal wars. And then I realized, now in this environment, past 2-3 years, including all of you guys, maybe before the COVID, during now, that persistence and willingness, it's a most crucial thing. Doesn't matter what we want, how we want, we need to live with what we have. And should lead by example. That's a leadership. I learned lead by example. And I remember before the one battle, my commanding officer was a general. He took the rubber band and put between the fingers. He told me, Mari, this is your troops, because I commanded quite big battle group called that head. He told me with the rubber band, if you pull, they're gonna follow you. But if you stay and push your soldiers out, you're not a leader. You don't deserve this. And that's a leadership. You're all leaders. That's how you're leading by example. Azita helping the homeless people, Tim doing the podcast, teaching people, Christina as well, her way, Nick, all of you guys, not just Mario. So that's my book about it is, do you believe in yourself, that you don't need nobody to tell you how great you are, what you can do, because all of this you have inside of you. So if I was 18 years old, being able to survive and because I was big then as well, 90 kilos. I was big. I got a big machine gun, MG42.
Just on that note, remember that? I don't know if you have it, but you shared that photo on LinkedIn. It was a very, I don't know if everyone saw it. It was a very, very handsome young Mario holding a light machine gun, wearing a beret. You remember that? Oh, there it is. Oh, isn't that sexy?
I was a sexy ass. I was fucking hot, man.
You're a real lady killer in those days. Total lady killer.
Yeah, and I was a baby, and I was like, I had I had a hair and no beard, but the thing is, because I was a big, they gave me the biggest gun, like you can see in a Second World War movie Germans, big machine gun, MG42, 5,000 rounds per minute. It's a tremendous firepower, and the enemy always looks for that sound, and it will destroy you. But that was, stupid, naive, young. Yeah, give it to me. Yeah, I can do this. Look at the movies. Chuck Norris, Rambo. It doesn't work that way. You can't hold in one hand, do this. I tried, and then, I almost killed my troopers. And there's a lot to look. There's a lot of fun stories as well. I do remember war is not only about suffering. There's a lot of stupid things happening as well, right? It's because you're trying to be the man, and all these stories. Everybody's a lover. Everybody's a porn machine. Everybody's the best. Everybody's done this. And
it's like high school with guns. It's just like high school, but guns and explosives.
Yeah, that's what it is. And then you face the personal tragedies of the people around you. They cannot talk to their families. They know what's happened to somebody other side. And those times there was no mobile phones, so there was not many pictures of me doing this and that. There is a couple of pictures inside. I was lucky enough to be there.
So no LinkedIn then? None of that. No LinkedIn then. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the book is all about you guys. You learn on my expensive mistakes, and I done it very, very terrible mistakes. Consciously, yes. Due to my bad choices, I chose people in my life who put me down, and the worst thing was that you don't need to chase nothing. Don't chase nothing. Don't chase nobody. What you decide is going to come to you one way or another. And I do remember is in my book, and Nick again edited this very well. On a Christmas Eve '91, a few days before Croatia got independence, been recognized as independent country by world, we have the biggest combat in the snow. I never saw the snow in my life like this. It was like a 2-meter tall. And I do remember that all I want to have a Christmas, because I have a Christmas. And everybody told me, stop dreaming about your fucking Christmas. Maybe we're all gonna die here. And I said, fuck, I just want to have Christmas without the cakes. And I kind of explained to people who laugh, and that now it's laughable and everything else. And I remember shooting and thinking about cakes and food and smell of the lamb and the pig and fucking everything else. And suddenly you wake up in that mess. Then you realize you have some can of some beans and shit food. That's what it is. We used to be getting salmon, as a donations from foreign countries. They gave us. And we chucking the salmon in the bin, because we said, who's salmon? Who's eating salmon? So that's give us just the pig and all this bacon.
What are you?
So yeah, guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, that book is just it's not about me. It's all about you, because we all have the limited time on this planet, and I'm inviting you that you guys be example, lead other ones. Because everybody now is doing Crimea River, looking for excuses how to make themselves feeling sorry for everything. But yet you are praying today here, help us to listen my story. For me, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And it's not about book sales. The reason why I started this book was try to say beginning. In 2010, when I was going through the personal deal with my life, privately and business-wise, I walked into a library I never read in my life, particularly not in English, because only words I know in English was a fuck, as every foreigner. Because when I arrived in Australia in '98, what you don't know, I come to Australia in '98 as a head of intelligence for Croatian government in Croatian embassy in Canberra after 15 years in military. That's how I come to Australia. That's how I come. I never dreamed I was going to come to Australia because all I know of Australia was a skippy, kangaroos and,
Skippy to bush kangaroo go.
The ozone hole. And
4 and 20 Pies Harbour Bridge. Got it.
Yeah, so like in my book, you can see like Nicky wrote it very well. My forward. I was working because when I want to resign 1998, government told me, no, you can't now just leave because we have a better job for you. So
we own you.
That's it. Yeah. So it's like in the movies, we owe you. Exactly. And I was 27 years old. Transferred me in Department of Foreign Affairs, Directorate 7, which was a foreign intelligence, counterintelligence sector, executive branch, and I was in Australia. So 2010, I worked in a library for the very first time in Australia, and the book was called You Can Do It from Paul Hanna. And that book changed my life, to me personally. And this is the reason why I always say my book is not for everybody. I like to people read, draw even one line. And if it's one person find to be motivated that they believe themselves rather than external elements of the life, I achieved my greatest thing.
Incredible. Mario, that was riveting. Can we give Mario a round of applause? Mario.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening to me today. But as I say, if you have the questions or whatever it is, my book is a biographical book, and as I say, everything in my book is 100% accurate for one thing, because there's many live witnesses, and I'm on LinkedIn, I'm everywhere, so nobody can say Mario is a liar, because I read many autobiographic books, and it's like, come on, that cannot be true. So this is, about living human beings back my home, involved in this book as well. On the pictures, you can see them, and just not their eyes, not because we were special forces and we cannot discover identity, but because I asked them, I didn't want it to be identified because of their lives. So guys, thank you.
Very noble. Mario, it was a great one. And just so you know, everyone, if you've bought Mario's book, thank you. If not, now's the time to do it. There's 2 links. For Australia, please, to share them, please click the .com.au link for Australia. And for anywhere across the world and Australia, you've also got Booktopia. So what I want to do now is I want to open it up to the audience. So if you want to, if you want to ask Mario a question or contribute, just click the hand up button in Zoom. So
can I let them ask me? They have the LinkedIn and everything else, and
okay.
I feel a little bit emotional. I'll be honest with you.
We love
I
it.
don't expect him to cry. Crying is not allowed.
We love it. We love it. I've never seen Mario crack before, and it was great to see it done publicly. You got me going, I almost cried, Mario. You got to me right here, big man.
So if you have any questions privately, feel free to contact me on LinkedIn.
I think Azina wants to say something. Azina, what have you got?
Mario, when I wrote my book, I feel like it was a rebirthing experience for me, because I cried for whole week, non-stop. I just cried. And then I cried for the next 4 months while I was writing it. But it was more like I was alive again. So for all those emotion that I was hiding and not showing it, I was finally allowed to express. So feel free to experience what I have experienced, a rebirth.
Maybe proud, but so like
maybe a bottle of wine and then talking about it.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing is, like if you have questions, it's like I apologize for my behavior. So thank you for coming today. If you want to ask any questions, feel free. It's LinkedIn and other means. 0488 121 720.
I saw Mei Chang put up a hand. Mei Chang wants to say something. Mei, what have you got for us, Mei Chang?
Mario, first of all, thank you very much. It's like your book is inside of you as your authentic self. So thank you for showing that vulnerability. What I like to ask is that you said that the book is also about your conversation with God. So when you finished the book, did it change your relationship with God?
It's a good question. You got Mario right in there.
See, I was very, very. I spent more time on the street than in school, and I was very naughty boy. I was no question asked. Maybe like we can go into deep psychology. Maybe I was looking for love from my parents or somebody. I can name it whatever it is. So I become the altar boy. In Catholic Church. The reason I became altar boy because I was running from police and I ran into the church and then she was there and she sort of sheltered me. It's like
a disguise, huh? Just I'm now an altar boy. Cops go that way.
Yeah, like altar boy. So like the priest Mate, it was terrific, man. He was terrific, man. He loved me. He told my father, many times that he should get a life and just recognize me as a son. But I was grown up in hardcore Roman Catholic family, and God was forbidden in my family because my grandfather was, I told you, in Yugoslavia, second in charge of communist police, so they worshipped very quietly under the table under 5 blankets. My father was religious, but my father's been reported by his wife, my mom, several times to the police. She was informant that he's listening to the Voice of America. But however,
so just stop there. Just stop at a point. So you're saying the wife reported your father for just listening to American radio?
Yes, that's correct. Yes. So he was normal because she was the type of person, but. My grandfather was that one who, her dad told her where she belongs, so she stopped it for the moment. Anyway, but the thing is, I truly believe that God exists. I truly believe that something is there more than just black space or stars or something. Because somehow everything works at the end positive. Even war ends, and there's a sacrifice, there's a victims, there's a losses. I never changed my relationship with God, but I changed my relationship with the church because I saw the church was an instrument in instigating war on a bigger scale then, because it was a clearly being done division. Are you the Catholic or not? And when you have a commandment, he says, "Thou shalt not kill." And when I start questioning these things, once I went to the ambush, and we come about 3 o'clock in the morning before 3 a.m. in the morning, we come close to that village, which come in my next book. A day before that, we got rosaries from our priest and, in Dominus Pater, Spiritus Sanctus, and all these things. Then I saw in an enemy village, just before they start going to their starting positions, there's an Orthodox priest doing the same thing, and I start questioning. It's like, okay, God, who you choose? Who you choose? And then I realized that it's not the God who choose. It's we who choose God. That's what it is. So that's a believing God, but I'm not. I don't go to church anymore. So. That's what it is. I strongly believe that God does exist in some shape or form, or you can call him, Buddha or this and that, or lower attraction, angels, Tamagotchis, whatever you want to, Teletubbies. But I truly believe there's some energy there in some shape or form, which makes us going ahead. I have a part I can say, like, I had some personal challenges with my son, and he was going to deal with his brain disease and epilepsy for 12 years, and eventually become healthy. And I believe that it's not me or only medicine who helped him, but I believe that something else is more there. That's what I want to say. So I need to stop here because I fucking hate myself doing this. So honestly, I don't like it being. I don't have the tissues, and I should be strong and everything else. So I am
the real Mario.
The real Mario. Look, you're the heroes. Like my life was. Don't believe. Don't follow your heart and follow your intuition. Don't listen to your brain or your heart only. That's what I say. Listen to your intuition. My grandfather always told me, I don't want you to go intelligence. And I said to him, you don't know nothing. I ended up in intelligence services. I ended up that life 2004. And, I was very happy that I ended up that life because I knew it. There's a more in life than just following the orders or believing that you belong to something. There's a part in life and you need to do this. And there is a coming in a life when you need to build yourself. Don't to be part of the wall, but be the wall for yourself. And today I'm surrounded with these awesome people, all of you. And as I say, I apologize again for my behavior. Thank you for being here today. So thank you. Thank you.
Everyone, can we please unmute and give Mario the biggest round of applause? Mario, legendary.
Legendary.
Well,